Today was a continuation Friday. It's something rare that really doesn't come up much in the markets, especially in the last few weeks that I've been trading. I haven't really seen a Friday that drops almost 600 points in just one day, and it really felt good to see that today. Friday, November 15th, the day I'm recording this, and the day I made $315 off of two trades. One of them was a $50 trade, the other was a $250 trade that I could have held to make like a lot more, but it's obviously I have that level of skepticism for Fridays where I typically get chopped around, and so I just took the trade off early. And so let's get into it. First, pre-market, I was just early in the morning, I was just tweeting about this pre-market and how all this chop is just completely like not something I would trade in, obviously. Like we had this chop since like 3:50 a.m. all the way till finally where 8:30 news was, the retail sales were released today, and you can see this big candle which just like swept out all the sell side liquidity. But one important thing that's like part of the whole narrative of this continuation Friday is these London highs right here. And this London high was established at 2:02 a.m. We failed to pierce through it on the NASDAQ. However, we did have turtle soup right here. Or, I mean, it's not necessarily turtle soup, but it's just a sweep of a high without a continuation higher. And so one important thing to note is that ES actually took out those highs on the London session. And let me show you where that happened. So you can clearly see the high right here taken out, and these are London highs being taken out on ES. This is a London high just confirmed, 1:30 a.m. So the London highs were taken out on ES, and they weren't taken out on NASDAQ, which also played into my short bias. Also considering the fact that we had a continuation day earlier, meaning yesterday, the 14th, we had like a large sell-off. And basically, what I was looking for is a continuation lower, but I also had this slight bias in the back of my mind that maybe we would want to rebalance and go a little bit higher today off of like what we sold off the previous day, which can be evident over here, right? You also have this end dog over here, that new day opening gap that could be a point of interest. And the only reason I have it as a line is because it wasn't like a big, like, I couldn't put a rectangle. It wasn't enough points for the new day opening gap. But yeah, I just deleted that because we don't really need it for this trade analysis. And I'm not really going to keep it open for later because I feel like it's not going to become an important point of contention for price later. So let's take a look at this 8:30 news. I'm going to draw a vertical line because it's important. And yeah, you can see it swept the sell side, then immediately came up. Obviously on ES, it actually took out the buy side, which I just showed you. So one important thing to realize right here is we kind of had an order block. And this order block was something I wanted to trade off of, and it is actually something that I ended up trading off of. Right here, we have a bearish order block because we have these 3 consecutive upward candles followed by the news candles, which ended up leading to a downward trend that kind of posed a threat to the sell side liquidity over here. Once the sell side liquidity was threatened by this order block, this bearish order block, I'm kind of looking for trades going into this sell side liquidity and potentially lower. So I take this short. However, it chops me around so much that I'm just like, okay, let me get out, take $50 profit. I don't want to have the threat of being stopped out, especially on a Friday, because obviously Fridays are just my weak point. And I kind of need to overcome that because Fridays can still have like good trading sessions, but typically good traders don't really seem to look for the best opportunities on Fridays. So I really just don't want to like push anything. I don't want to try my luck. So I had like an $80 stop loss. This is kind of inaccurate. It says 13 points here, but in reality I had an $80 stop loss, and I really could have held that because I'm definitely okay taking an $80 loss, but I didn't. And it would have been like a $237 winner if I remember correctly. And you can see 22 points. So I'm pretty correct about that. So yeah, I didn't hold it to the sell side liquidity. Like 10 minutes after I exited, it hit my take profit, and then look at that. Rushed all the way down. 9:30 open, we continue to push lower. And this is a trade that I saw a lot of people on Instagram taking as well after like maybe an hour ago. So I traded this session, by the way, like as it was happening. Obviously, like I'm trading live, but what I mean by when I saw people on Instagram taking it is like a couple hours after I took the trade. And it kind of shows that like ICT traders are united. Like we all see the same damn setups. We all use that first fair value gap created at 9:30 a.m. and we all use those inverse fair value gaps and just looking for all the other signs in the market. And I feel like ICT is just like the best way to trade. It's simply, and it's really simple. If you can narrow it down to just a couple of topics, you don't have to use all of those like ADPD arrays that ICT has mentioned in this 2024 mentorship. So basically, we have the 9:30 a.m. open. I'm not really like looking at that. I just like mark it out as a point of contention, but I wasn't really using it today, to be honest, because I really was just sensing a continuation Friday. ICT also posted something about that on his Twitter. He predicted it perfectly. Trying not to glaze, but man, it's crazy. Once you really see it in action, you just start to believe it, and you just start to be more passionate about it. And yeah, we had this 9:30 a.m. gap being filled in. Not necessarily filled in. I don't like to say that about fair value gaps, but being tapped into, respected. We're not closing above it actually, which is really crazy. It kind of shows that, okay, we're going to go lower. We're going to tap into the sell side liquidity. And so once we do tap into the sell side liquidity, what do we create here? Well, we create a breaker block first off with these candles. We create a breaker block, but it's also like an order block. It's just a breaker block, and that's something I marked out. And I saw this fair value gap right here, and I also saw that the fair value gap is right above the order block, which is the one that I'm circling currently. That order block or breaker block, I don't really like to like identify breaker blocks because they're just harder to identify than order blocks. So I just tend to refer to them as just order blocks as well. So we have this order block right here. We don't close above it, like literally twice in a row. So then I just take my short and I put my take profit all the way down here at the election gap up. This is a level that Tanya Trade mentioned, and I really wouldn't have taken this trade if Tanya Trades didn't give me like a good level to have it potential exit at, because it's a Friday and there are no clear levels that are going to be respected regardless of like how good it looks. But this Friday was all too convincing. The continuation is just insane. We lost like 600 points in the Nasdaq today, which is absolutely beautiful for traders that know how to manage their take profits, trailing stop losses, all that, trailing take profits, trailing stop losses. So yeah, this setup is bread and butter. Order block, failed to close above it, tapped into the fair value gap, respected it, didn't even wick outside of that fair value gap. Best entry possible. I actually could have just been more comfortable putting once we started closing lower, I actually adjusted my stop loss to like be more over like closer to these wicks. So yeah, it was just beautiful. And that was the setup today. Pure ICT trading. I'm really not showing anything on like a large time frame. There wasn't too much to focus on levels wise. So this is like all you're getting, like a straight line. I know it's a weird trade setup, but it works. And the breaker block, order block, whatnot, completely came in handy. And I'm a true believer of ICT. I've been a true believer for a minute. And by true believer, I'm not trying to sound like corny or anything, but like what I mean is that this thing really works. And I'm trying to build consistency as a day trader and as a content creator. And yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned a little something about the importance of order blocks and like closing above them, closing below them, tapping into these fair value gaps, even using the opening fair value gap right here, which is highlighted in orange. I always highlight mine in orange. I used to just write first fair value gap or something of the day, but I just like to highlight in orange. I don't like to put too many words on my fair value gaps. But yeah, there was not much to this trade. We also, one thing I forgot to mention, inverse fair value gap right here as well. We inverted that, respected equilibrium of it as well. So, excuse me. So yeah, it's a great day for trading. I think like it's a nice calm Friday, good way to go into the weekend, and we're gonna return sharper next week. Gonna have to work on a few things like more content creation, and yeah, I just want to keep putting out quality content for y'all, and hope y'all learned something. Please like, subscribe, comment. Any feedback, anything will help. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And yeah, I'm grinding, trading, and I'm gonna keep improving as a trader. And I hope my content improves you as a trader as well. ICT is the way for sure. If you have another trading suggestion or method, I respect it. I've tried a lot of things, and this is just what works for me. Thank you for watching.